Okay? Thank you very much. This is a continuation of the single greatest witch hunt of all time. We have a rogue judge who rules that properties are worth a tiny fraction, 1/100th, a tiny fraction of what they actually are. We have a racist attorney general who's a horror show, who ran on the basis that she was going to get Trump before she even knew anything about me. She used this to run for governor. She failed in her attempt to run for governor. She had virtually no polling. She came back and she said, well, now I'll go back to get Trump again. And this is what we have. It's a scam. It's a sham. Just so you know, my financial statements are phenomenal. They are actually less in terms of the numbers used than the actual net worth. The actual net worth is substantially more. No bank was affected. No bank was hurt. They don't even know why they have to be involved. And they've so testified. They can't believe that they're involved because they were paid back on time. There were no defaults. There were no problems. And it was like a perfect client. In the meantime, people are being murdered all over the sidewalks of New York. There was no victim here. The banks were represented by the best, biggest, most prestigious law firms in the state of New York, actually in the country. Some of the biggest and best law firms, in all cases, the biggest and best law firms. That's who represented them. The banks got back their money. Again, there was never a default. There was never a problem. Everything was perfect. There was no crime. The crime is against me because we have a corrupt district attorney, but we have a corrupt attorney general, and it all comes down from the DOJ. They're totally coordinating this in Washington because I'm the leading candidate. I'm leading Biden by 10 points, and I'm leading the Republicans by 50 and 60 points. That's pretty much, they say, over. I never accept that, but they say it's over. This has to do with election interference, plain and simple. They're trying to damage me so that I don't do as well as I'm doing in the election. Our country's gone to hell. We have a country that's in decline, serious decline. We have a man running our country who has no clue, doesn't know what he's doing, and you know it better than anybody because you have to cover him. What they've done with open borders, what they've done with interest rates and taxes, it's a disgrace. So what we have here is an attempt to hurt me in an election. It's an attempt to hurt me in an election. This never happened before, where President of the United States leaves office and gets indicted. And the reason I got indicted was that I ran. If I didn't run, I'd be sitting right now at a beach like Biden does every time, even though he's supposed to be working. So very simply put, it's a witch hunt. It's a disgrace. We have a corrupt attorney general in this state. You see how she does? This trial was railroaded and fast-tracked. This trial could have been brought years ago, but they waited till I was right in the middle of my campaign. The same with other trials and indictments. It's all run by DOJ, which is corrupt in Washington. Everything goes through them. They're all corrupt people. Frankly, our country is corrupt. And that's one of the reasons I'm running. We're going to straighten it out. They have one property that's worth anywhere from 50 to 100 times what this judge put down as a value. Put down a value $18 million, and the property's probably worth, could be anywhere from 50 to 100 times more than that. And a lot of those numbers could even be low. We have other properties, the same thing, so he devalued everything. I didn't even put in my best asset, which is the brand, in terms of value. Coca-Cola, take a look at their value. They have a value. The value of their brand is more than everything else put together. My brand is extremely valuable. I didn't even use it in my financial statement. If I wanted to build up a financial statement, I would have built it up by using brand in addition to everything else. We have the
Former President Trump making a statement outside the courtroom as he gets ready to head into his civil fraud trial. The judge has already decided a key part of this case, ruling that Donald Trump did commit fraud by inflating his net worth by more than $2 billion, by overestimating the value of some of his properties. We're hearing him now say that this is the greatest political witch hunt of all time, calling the judge a rogue judge, calling the attorney general racist. Brian, what do you make of some of the comments that he's making in terms of the values and the math involved in this case?
I don't know how he's doing the math. I hear his arguments on one sense where I've heard them many times from clients. You know, there's no damages. My clients would say, I stole from CVS, but as I walked out, they got all the property back, and so no harm, no foul. But that's not how the law works. He's talking about valuation being 50 to 100 times more, but he doesn't seem to have the own accurate numbers himself. This seems to be far more about politics for him, somehow connecting three distinct legal bodies, the New York Attorney General's office, the prosecutor in Georgia, and then the DOJ, as all being somehow cahoots. When these allegations came far before he started running, it seems like he's grasping at straws to try to create some kind of doubt in someone's mind. But the one person whose mind is going to decide both the law and the facts here has already had a ruling against him that hurts him in so many ways. There's not a jury here, it's a judge. So I don't see how this is going to help him in any way, shape, or form.
And John, part of this seemed like it was aimed at people who are concerned about this trial. Part of it seemed like it was aimed at the country in general, almost like a campaign speech.
Well, and I'm looking at this image right now of Donald Trump speaking at court, and just look at the confluence, if you will, of two different worlds around him. His lawyers are standing to his left, and then the campaign team is standing to his right. And one of his co-defendants in the other case, Walt Nauta, who's right behind him, also in a blue shirt, blue tie, like his boss. That is the co-defendant in the documents case, that is the special counsel's case from Jack Smith down in Florida, is behind him as well. It's this small orbit around Donald Trump that is constantly colliding. His personal operations with the company, the campaign, Jason Miller, as chief spokesperson, to his right, and his lead lawyer on this case, Chris Kise, to his left. That is Donald Trump's world right now. And I think seeing Donald Trump still speaking, I mean, I don't know if someone in the control room has been taking a clock of how long he's been going, but we were told he would not speak. I didn't believe that for 10 seconds because Donald Trump and a microphone can never be separated. But I didn't think he'd be going this long. I think we're somewhere at what, guys, like 8-9 minutes, something like that. For Donald Trump, who has really got to watch himself in one way. And Brian, this is a question I would ask you out of curiosity. He has already been told by several judges on the other cases, watch it, stop commenting, stop tweeting, stop rallying up your base. You're going to cause harm and threats to people, a la January 6th, what we saw happen there. This being outside the courtroom, attacking the judge and the attorney general right outside the room where it's going to happen, this trial about to start any minute, that to me is just shocking.
So, Brian, if you're his attorney, what are you thinking right now?
Why did I get this client? No. I'm thinking to him, we have to limit the liability here. Let's stop taking shots at the judge. Let's stop taking shots at the other prosecutors in the other cases. Let's try to limit this to an issue of math and calculation. That the judge has their interpretation, we have our interpretation. Let's get the best and brightest, as Donald Trump always says, to evaluate his property. Yes, if you look at, for example, Mar-a-Lago and the other properties surrounding there in Florida, they might be of a different valuing system than his, but he has the ability to say, yeah, my brand, as he said, Coca-Cola brand is huge compared to the actual assets. The ability to have people come in and just buy time from him as a former president adds value that might not be able to be seen in the simple square footage calculation that they're using. Make this an argument of the science, the math. Don't make it an argument of politics.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.